Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, welcome one and all to the repeat of Southern Hispanic Independent Television. After 10 long years of silence, we are back. And what better place to make our comeback than the one studio in San Antonio where all the latest hits have been winning awards. You are, this, for those of you who don't know, is Severo. Severo, what is your full name?
Severo Contreras Jr. I'm Junior.
Severo Contreras Jr. is not just the mastermind here in the recording studio, but he actually has his own Tejano group, the Texas Latinos, and they are top of all the charts right now. And on top of that, you have like a long list of superstar Tejano artists on your roster. SHI-TV Becky Dez, Ram Herrera, other people that I've never heard of, but I recognize their names because they're at the top of all the charts. All of your artists are charting right now.
Including yourself.
Well, yeah, including myself.
Including yourself.
But tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get started? Well, I know how you got started just doing music, but how did you get started doing recording music in the recording studio?
Well, back in the days we had Capitol. We had Warner Brothers, we had Arista, we had big major companies, and so we had to have our crap together.
Yeah.
We couldn't bull crap anything. We had to really get in there and get done with Manny Guerra, a producer like him. You had to have your stuff down, and so we did a lot of stuff pre-production at home. And so by doing that, that's how I kind of got it. And say, hey, you know what?
So you worked for Manny Guerra and them, or?
Well, yeah, Manny Guerra was our first record label for Texas Latino. He was on the Amen Studio.
So you started doing music first?
Yes.
As an artist first?
Yeah, as an artist.
Okay.
As an artist, and doing that, I kind of stumbled into, trying to sequence and trying to figure out parts and what can we do to eliminate time in the studio. And that's how it all became. And then some of the first stuff that I did was Juanito Castillo, Savannah Ocean. Those were kind of one of the first ones that they were young. I mean, Juanito was 11, Savannah was 15 or 14, something like that. And then we went from there, and I wanted to take a challenge on my own stuff, on trying to pursue that. I said I did it for Texas Latino, now I want to do it for somebody else. Mm-hmm. And so I took the go. I mean, we're talking, 20 years later, 19 years, something like that later. And running into artists like yourself, Ram Herrera, SHI-TV Becky Dez. SHI-TV, I started with SHI-TV when I was 13 years old. That was my first Tejano band.
Now, what's the difference between back then and now? Like back then you were just starting out as a music producer and engineer. Has it changed at all in the past 20 years for you, like success-wise?
Well, it has. It has, Rebecca, but it's different than what it was back then.
But people respect you more now.
No, I think
they still don't respect me.
I think that the respect comes with longevity. Even till now, I don't expect to get respected. We have to work. That takes a lot of work. Little Joey La Familia, Sonny Ozuna, Jimmy Edwards. God bless his soul. But those guys are the legacy. It's a long legacy. It's not. It just doesn't get done overnight,
Yeah.
and stuff. So it's one of those things that you just kind of go through it, and then now I pinch myself to say I'm here working with Shelly.
Right.
I'm working with Ram. I'm working with Marcos Orozco. I'm working with Ricardo Castillon. I'm working with yourself. It's just one of those things that you look back and say, did I ever think this? No. You listen to the 45s and you're playing, I'm playing drums with the 45s, and later on I'm doing Robert Ramos. He's in the studio with me, and we're able to, kind of do this.
With your history in the Tejano music industry, where do you see Tejano music going in the future?
That's hard to say, Rebecca, because we don't know. We have, like we talked in the, about in the past. we have record labels that come and they go. You know, so that depends. If the record label decides to come back, then it's a whole other animal.
And that would be
you know?
great,
And
I think, because that's the one thing that we're lacking is support from any sort of label.
Right.
We're busy having to do it for ourselves. And in this environment where social media is king, you've managed to maneuver your way through that.
Right.
You've got people working for you that handle social media for you. Was that a difficult task to take on?
Oh yeah, because you know, Rebecca, we used to be spoon-fed. You know, we had Sony Records, and we had a representative behind, and then we had somebody coaching what you were talking, your accent, your pronunciation in Spanish, and then you had somebody else getting ready to wrap it up and say, hey, it's ready to go. Deadlines.
Yeah.
We don't have deadlines anymore.
We don't know when to release the music now because we don't know where.
Yeah, procrastination.
Yeah.
Procrastination.
Release it whenever it's ready.
if there's no deadlines, then it goes on forever. You know. And so,
I can attest to that. How long has it been since we recorded a song?
So I get her butt back over here.
Procrastinator.
Yeah, try to get her butt back over here is hard, but it's a lot of that you know, a lot of people don't in producing, you know that, Rebecca. A lot of people back in the days like Manny Guerra, you know, and Gilbert Velasquez, even until now, all these guys are there for a reason to tell you what we need to do. A lot of times the artists might want to do what's in their heart and soul like that, but we need somebody to kind of say, hey, that's it, cut it right here, you know, and then that's up to us to kind of, you know. But I'm really blessed to be even in the situation.
And you have done a lot of experimental music here as well. You've combined, like with the single that you did for me, you combined Tejano and Norteño in a way that nobody has heard before, in a way I'd never heard before. And I literally had to research Norteño beats and stuff, because when you showed me that first drum, I was like, what the heck is that? I've never heard that before.
Jazz little thing that was kind of like a swing going on, and you weren't used to it. And I tell you, well, let me just at least try to sell you on it.
But you have to try these new things, because if we don't, we'll never evolve.
But Rebecca, yourself too, as the artist, you come in and you have your interpretation of the song, and everybody tells you no. Everybody says no. You know, you're just freaking out. You don't know what the. But you know, with the right person and the right stuff, you know, right with the right person and the right, you know, we make it happen.
And that's where labels usually come into play, is with that support, that moral support. They're always giving you positive feedback, but they're reeling you in so you don't go overboard. I mean, there's so many things that a label could do for us that we're trying to figure out how to do for ourselves, and there's no real book to read.
No, there's not. There's no. You asked me earlier about, you know, like the how, what I thought. You know, when we come in, nobody told us how to write, to do autographs. Nobody told us to do interviews. Nobody told us any of that. We just had to learn on our own. Yeah. And I was 13 with Shelly Lattes. I mean, you're coming out with a CD. We're opening up with Patsy Torres and David Modest and all these bands, and the places are packed. And how do we act? We don't know how to act. You know, and a lot of you young kids nowadays, even some of the older artists don't know exactly, you know, what to do about that. And I think you should do something later on and help them and create and do, and, you know, and help them understand that part, because there's not a lot of people that understand that.
Yeah.
And no one's ever told you.
Do you have like regular set hours that you work here in the studio? Are you here like Monday through Friday and then you gig on the weekends? Do you have like a plan ever?
Well, really, this is what I do for a living. This is what I do for a living. There was times when I had to do other jobs just to make this happen, this dream come true.
And it was worth it, right?
Well, it was worth it. A lot of sacrifice, of course, but now this is what I do. I try not to come too early. Everybody wants to come in because everybody works and everybody has, you know, their hours. They want to come in at 5 or 6. I try to be here at 10 or 11 in the morning, but then by 2 or 3 in the morning, we're talking I don't know how many hours. And so it's
now, if a youngster came in here, still green behind the ears, what would your advice to that child and their parent be if they were looking to produce an album with you?
You know, Rebecca, a lot of times people come in, they some of them have more talent, some of them have less, some of them have more more
personality than talent.
More personality, or more maybe financial wise, and that's not what I do here. I kind of be truthful. If a person needs more of the vocal lessons before they even come in to do something like this, then that's where they should go. And then I try to advise everybody of that. I try not to. And of course, all people are going to say, what are you doing? Don't turn down the client, but you have to lead them the right way. A lot of people lead them the wrong way and tell them you can do things and you can make it happen, the dreams come true, but it's not necessarily.
So now you have here an honest engineer who will not necessarily turn down the work, but just say you're not ready yet. Let me get you ready. See what you got to do.
And go with somebody like Rebecca. And Rebecca will teach you vocally. And those are the things that I can't do. I can't do because a person like you can tell them. Hey,
well, you can do it, but you're really busy doing other stuff.
I'm busy, of course, other stuff, and you can work, with yourself and with other Shelly or whoever it is out there that takes patience and time with the artist themselves and needs to, hey, breathe here or breathe more or diaphragm or whatever it is.
Now, I think our listeners, our audience would like to know who's like the biggest star that you've had in here, and do you have any interesting stories about their time here?
That's a lot. That's a lot. Starting with yourself, of course, yeah.
I don't have any secrets for me.
Hey,
talking about.
Come on, Janet Jackson, Sheila E. Who else? Who else? Yeah, I mean, you're talking about LA stuff here.
No, today you were gonna have Ramonetta was gonna be in here.
Right.
And you were talking about a Little Joe and some other people.
But I think Sonny Ozuna, he's
that's right, I saw him here once.
Yeah, he's one of my, I would say one of my all-time favorite. I played with him when I was 16 years old. We did the Legends tour. We did Joe Bravo, Renee, Jimmy Edwards, Sonny Ozuna, of course.
And did Sonny ever teach you something and stay with you?
Of course. When I went to go audition for that, Sonny told me, you're gonna rehearse with us and stuff like that. We got there, Martin Garcia's walking out. God rest his soul, because he's in heaven now. But I remember him walking out and he'd say, hey, you can do the gig. You got it. I'm like, okay, cool. Walking in. So I walk in and Sonny tells me, hey, you're my keyboard player. But we're gonna rehearse Jimmy Edwards, Joe Bravo, Renee, and we're gonna do the Legends tour. And I was like, okay, from one day to the next. It was almost like it was like a Tuesday or Wednesday. I had to get ready for Friday. But it was one of those things that I never forget. I mean, seeing Sonny Ozuna himself perform, seeing people cry, hugging each other and stuff like that, you hardly ever see that. You don't ever see that, and there's not many, I could say, Tejano artists that create that every night.
Yeah, that
every night.
Fanaticism, fans.
Yeah.
Fans. Now, who would you say in today's Tejano, who is like the king right now?
The king, huh?
Like, who's today's version of Sonny Ozuna? The equivalent. Or is there nobody that can fill that?
Okay, so we're talking about Sonny Ozuna as of now,
we're talking star quality,
but remember, okay,
personality,
so we're talking
stage
about
presence.
Sonny Ozuna was trying to get into where Buddy Holly, all the big dogs. Right. I don't see that happening right now in the Tejano.
Emilio was doing country music.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it seemed that was really going
I think
well.
we lost a little bit of that. Nobody's trying to compare to Justin Bieber or something to compare to, And I think that's what we need a little bit of the more of the young generation stepping up to their game, because I think the other older guys have done their part.
They have.
And they fought against Santana. They fought against a lot of groups, Fats Dominoes. There was a lot of groups that they fought, and they still held their ground. And so I think that's where we need to kind of step up, even if it's on our game or music. Try to compete.
Yeah,
and
at least be put a standard for yourself to try and at least be as
staying
good as
relevant
that,
or whatever too is, you know. I mean, it's okay, you know. We do country, we do.
But you didn't answer the question.
What was the question?
Who today?
I think it's a lot of greats. Jay
Yeah.
Pettis, you know, Jay Pettis holds his own in all genres of R&B.
Didn't Jay Pettis sing with Tower of Power at one point? He did?
I think he did. I think he did some
I
kind
would
of.
have paid
I'm not
great
sure.
amount of money,
don't know.
which I don't have any money. But if I had some money, I would have paid whatever
Right,
price to see
that.
Jay Pettis sing with Tower of Power.
But you see how that is, Rebecca. How I mean, you know, the Tejano, everybody has a different country. You know, for instance, and Jay might be the R&B-ish more, and you might be the R&B-ish.
I know Shelly does country
more.
music too.
Right, she does she does really great country.
She does great country.
And you yourself you do great R&B, and the R&B mode is that's your enchilada and mole and everything, right, and stuff. And so,
do you find that it's difficult for artists to even accomplish that today, to have their foot in another genre while remaining relevant in the Tejano industry? Like, does the audience just hate that? Like, oh, Jay Pettis is singing another R&B song, boo. Or do they embrace that?
no, I think it's taking the challenge. I don't think a lot of people take the challenge nowadays. You know, honestly, I don't think that because of the record labels are not here and all that stuff, they don't envision it for it being big. Things are big no matter if they're here or in LA or in Florida. It takes a room. It takes a room to create music and to create stuff that you want to create and stuff.
Because there are artists out there that can do both. Like the Texas Tornadoes. What's the guy that did
Freddie Fender.
Freddie Fender. Well, he was the Texas Tornadoes.
Yes. But
there's-
those are one of the greats also that were
and,
in that.
Max Baca and the Bacanators. What are they called? Max Baca and his group. They do the same thing.
Los Hermanos Bacas, right? Back in the days,
I don't know what they're called. The Tex Maniacs. But they tour all over the world doing conjunto music, but like with like the museos, like the what's the big museum here in the United States in Washington?
Smithsonian.
The Smithsonian. He does a bunch of projects for the Smithsonian. Why is he able to do it and the rest of us just keep getting ignored?
Well, it's a different culture. It's a conjunto, and so we have to get into that.
Do you
genre,
think he's
the conjunto
found the
tejano.
secret to the sounds meshing together?
I think we have. I think we just need to kind of, get it together and make it get bigger
We need to hold our hands together and support each other.
Support
each other.
Yes.
Well, cool.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad that you were our first episode back with the Southern Hispanic Independent Television. I see a lot of great things from you in the future. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. Thank you for showing us your studio and sharing your stories with us. And I'm sure we'll see a lot more from you.
Thank you. Thank you to Jorge, all the staff.
Jorge, all of our staff, all the people behind Jorge.
That make this happen.
The makeup artists, the plastic surgeons.
Right.
The catering, craft services, all those people that come together to make the show. Thank you all, and please tune in next time for another episode of Southern Hispanic Independent Television.